Hi friends, welcome to Azure Content. This is part 11 in Azure Data Factory playlist. In this video, we are going to witness few examples of wildcard patterns in copy activity of Azure Data Factory pipelines. So in our previous video, that is in part 10, we have already got a glimpse of wildcard pattern in copy activity. So I would recommend you to please go through that video first before landing on this video. So using wildcard filters is the most simplest and easiest way when your requirement is to load multiple files, especially when your requirement is to copy few of the files which have commonality between them, which means suppose these two files have similar file format, suppose both of them are of CSV file format, and if you want to copy only these two files out of all the list, then you can use star.csv to copy all the files having CSV file format in the list of files. Okay, so similarly, we can use different wildcard patterns to copy multiple files which shares some pattern. Okay, so let's move ahead. So in this video, I'm going to use these wildcard patterns as an example to show you different scenarios that we can achieve using wildcard patterns in Azure Data Factory pipelines. Okay, so what we will do is we will use each of these patterns in wildcard file path, and we will understand when to use which of these symbols, and we will also compare the results that we are getting using each of these patterns. Okay, so for that what I have done is I have created multiple slides out of each of these patterns. So you can see, so these are the patterns. So this is the first pattern that we are going to use, and this is the input folder that we have, and it contains 7 files. So if we use this pattern in wildcard file name, then what results we will get? So we will try to get those results and accommodate in this slide so that we can compare with other patterns as well. Okay, so similarly I have created different slides for different patterns. Okay, so let me clear all this. Let's go back to ADF pipeline. Let me erase everything. Yeah, so first of all, let me show you the input container. So we have ABC container where we have 7 files. So all those files are in folder A. So let me open this. So you can see these are the files that is also present in the screenshot that I shared. So let me go to ADF pipeline and let me start using those wildcard patterns. Okay, so I already have a copy activity. So in the source, we have a binary file. Okay, so it is just pointing to the ABC container, and in the sink, we have another binary file, and it is pointing to ABC output container, which basically does not exist yet, but it will be created on the fly. So till this point, it is similar to what we have done in our previous video. Okay, so in the file path type, by default, it is selected as file path in dataset. Whenever you drag and drop the copy activity, it will be having file path in dataset as the default selection. So we need to change it to wildcard file path. Okay, so here you can see in this wildcard paths, we have this container name. It is being derived from the dataset. Okay, so since we have defined the container name here, it is coming in the pipeline. Okay, so now for this folder path, the files are in only one folder, that is folder A. So we can specify the folder name here. So I'm going to specify folder A here, or we can simply give star because only one folder is there, and we need not worry about anything. It will simply select all the folders since we have only one folder. So we are not worried about specifying the folder name. So we are good. And in this file name, here is where we have to specify the wildcard pattern. Okay, for copying files based on our requirement. Okay, so let me go to presentation, and the first wildcard pattern that we have is data underscore then 4 question mark dot CSV. Okay, so here is the place where we have to specify the wildcard patterns, and whichever file will match that pattern, those files will be copied to the output container. So let me go to the presentation and let me copy the first pattern that we have, and let me paste it here, and just making sure that there is no space before and after the file name pattern. So let me just zoom in a bit so that you can clearly see this. So here the pattern is data underscore 4 question marks dot CSV. It means that the file name should start with data underscore. Okay. So if the file name is suppose a data underscore something, then it won't match because there is some string before data. So it should always start with data underscore as the file name, and then the 4 question mark depicts that it will allow up to 4 characters after data underscore. Okay, so it will also match data underscore 123.csv, or it will also match data underscore 12.csv, and it will also match data underscore 1234.csv, and similarly it goes with string values as well. So it will also match data underscore abc.csv, it will also match data underscore ab.csv, or it will also match data underscore abcd.csv, but it won't match abcde.csv because it crosses the limit of 4 characters. Okay, so if we compare the files in our abc container, so you can see the files which are matching this criteria, that is data underscore, and after that it should be up to 4 characters. Those files are data underscore .csv, then data underscore 1234.csv, and data underscore 4567.csv. But this file won't match because it has 5 characters after data underscore. Okay, apart from this, you can see all these files does not start with data as the starting value. Okay, so we are expecting these 3 files because our pattern is data underscore 4 question marks, which means we can take up to 4 characters. Okay, so these 2 are 4 characters and this one is no character after data underscore. So we are good. This will also be matching with this pattern. Okay, so let's go to ADF pipeline and let me hit on debug. So let me zoom in this one and let me zoom out the pipeline. So let's hit on debug and let's wait for the completion of the pipeline. Yeah, so the pipeline execution is completed. Let me go to the ADLS container. Let me duplicate this tab so that we can compare the expected output and the actual output. So you can see output container has been generated. So let me open this. So it has copied folder A. Within folder A, it has 3 files, that is data underscore .csv, data underscore 1234.csv, and data underscore 4567.csv. So let me check with the expected output. So you can see these 3 files are coming, which is as expected. So let me take the screenshot of this and let me paste it in the slide. So let me copy this and let me paste it here so that we can compare with the different results. Okay. So we are good with this. Let me go to the next slide. So here the pattern is data underscore 4 question mark and star.csv. So the only changes, we are including star here. So let me go to the pipeline again. So before making changes to the pipeline, let me clear all this. Let me delete these 3 files. And meanwhile, let me go to the pipeline and here we will include star after 4 question marks. Okay. So we have added the asterisk symbol, that is the star mark, and the container output container is empty now. So let's evaluate this before running the pipeline. So data underscore 4 question marks meant that it would take all the files having data underscore as the starting value and up to 4 characters it will consider to copy, which means data underscore 123, data underscore 1234.csv both will be copied, but data underscore 12345 won't be copied. But since we have added this star now, so it is not having any boundary of 4 characters now after data underscore. So it will basically behave similar to data underscore star. Okay. So even these 4 question marks are also not needed. But let's check that in practical how it goes. So let me run this pipeline. I have already cleared everything from the output container. Let's hit on debug. And before hitting on debug, let me just select the expected output. So this time we are expecting all the files having data underscore as the starting value because after 4 question marks we have star, which means it can consider up to n characters after data underscore. Okay, so because we have star, so let's debug and then we will understand if the expected output is matching the actual output or not. So let's wait for the pipeline execution to be completed. Yeah, so the execution is completed. Let me go to the output container and let me hit on refresh. Yeah, so you can see we have 4 files. Okay, let me check with the expected output. So you can see we have all the 4 files starting with data as the value. Okay, so we are good with this one. And as we discussed, it would have been the same case if we would have used data underscore star dot csv instead of having 4 question marks here. So let me clear all this and let's revalidate that as well. So let's wait for this to be deleted. Yeah, so all the files are deleted. Let's run the pipeline with data underscore star dot csv as the value. So let's wait for the pipeline execution. Yeah, so pipeline execution is completed. Let's check the output container. So you can see we have the same 4 files present in the output. Okay, so that is coming as expected. So let me go back. So here we already saw that 4 files are coming. It was the same. Let me take the screenshot and let me paste it in the presentation. Moving on to the next slide. Here our pattern is data underscore then 3 question marks dot csv. So let me copy this and let me paste it in the pipeline. Before that, let me delete again. Let me clear all this and let's go to the wildcard pattern and let me paste it. So now we are expecting up to only 3 characters after data underscore. So let me check here. So this will match because it is having data underscore dot csv, which means after data underscore we have 0 character. So it will fall under the category of up to 3 characters. So we are good. But all these are having more than 3 characters after data underscore. So only data underscore dot csv will match this condition. So let's debug the pipeline and let's see if we are getting the expected result or not in the output container. So let's wait for the pipeline execution to be completed. Yeah, so execution is completed. Let me go to the output container and let me hit on refresh. So you can see only data underscore dot csv has been copied because our placeholder was 3 characters. Okay, so up to 3 characters we could have considered. So it considered only one file, that is data underscore dot csv, because we do not have any other file which is having less than or equal to 3 characters after data underscore. We just have this one file. Okay, so we are getting the expected result. Let me take the screenshot and paste it in the presentation as well. Yeah, so we are good. Let me go to the next one, this pattern, and let me paste it in the ADF. So let me delete this one and here let me paste the pattern. So here first thing is that the file format should be JSON. Okay, and then there should be up to 3 characters before this date value. Okay, so let me clear because it is not visible. Yeah, so you can see we have 3 question marks, which means it will consider up to 3 characters. It can be ABC, it can be AB, it can be only A, or it can be numerical like 1 to 3, then this number that is basically a date value. Okay, it is today's date. So it can have 1 and then today's date. It can take 1, 2 and then today's date. It can take up to 3, that is 1, 2, 3 then today's date. But it cannot take 1, 2, 3, 4 then today's date dot JSON. It will reject that one. And we can have string value as well, as we discussed. It can be A, or it can be AB, or it can be ABC then today's date dot JSON. But it cannot take ABCD and today's date dot JSON. Okay, so let me go to the container and let's see which all files are matching the pattern. So we are considering up to 3, right? And then today's date. So today's date is matching. First of all, let me check with the dates. So this is not matching because it is ending with 16 and here we have 15. So it is not considered, and this one. Okay, so these two are matching, and let's check the other things. So we are considering only up to 3 characters before the date value starts. So this one will not match because it has 4 characters before the date value. So we are expecting let me close this. So we are expecting only this file to be copied. Okay, so we have already cleared the output container. Let me debug the pipeline and let's wait for the execution to be completed, and then we will check if only this file got copied or not. Okay, so let's wait. Yeah, so the execution is completed. Let me hit on refresh in the output container. So you can see only DEF and 2023-02-15.json got copied from input to output container. Okay, so let me take the screenshot of this and let me paste it in the PPT. So we are good with this one, and we are left with the last one, that is this one. Let me copy this. Let me clear the container first so that there won't be any confusion. And meanwhile, let me paste the pattern here. So this time you can see we have a star mark and then today's date.json. Okay, so it should consider all the files which are having today's date. Okay, and also it should have JSON as the file format. So sometimes in the real-time project we have such requirement that we need to copy all the files which are loaded today by the client. Okay, so the client would place the files with today's date in the file name, and we have to load all the files with today's date. Okay, so in that case we can consider using wildcard file path, and we can give this asterisk and then today's date and whatever the file format if you need. If you don't have to specify any particular file format, then you can simply give today's date dot star. Suppose if you have requirement to only consider sales related files or marketing related files, some specific kind of requirement is there, then you can, suppose you have the file name as sales_123 then underscore today's date. Okay, then you can give simply like sales_3 underscore then today's date. Okay, so this kind of pattern you can create by your own based on the requirement. Okay, so for now let me remove everything and let me have .json and star as it was for the last case. Let me recheck. Yeah, so we are good. So this time our expectation is it will match both these JSON files, and it won't consider this one because it is not matching today's date. So this time it will consider both the files because we have star mark instead of 3 question marks. Okay, so we have this asterisk symbol, which means it will consider all the files. So basically asterisk represents 0 or more characters. Okay, so let's run this pipeline and let's wait for the output file to be loaded here. So we are assuming these two files will be copied in the output container. So let's wait for the pipeline execution to be completed. Yeah, so execution is completed. Let me hit on refresh. Yeah, so you can see ABCD, then today's date.json got copied, and DEF today's date.json was copied. Okay, it has not considered this one because it is not having today's date. So we are good. Let me take the screenshot and let me paste it here so that we can refer it. Okay, so we have covered all the patterns. So you can see, let me just do a quick recap. So here in this example, 4 question mark is like a placeholder for up to 4 characters after data underscore. So you can see these 3 files are getting copied, and it has excluded this one because it has 5 characters after data underscore. Okay, similarly this one we have star mark, so it is considering all the files which starts with data underscore, so it behaves similar to data underscore star.csv. Okay, so going to this one, so we have data underscore then 3 question marks, which means it will consider up to 3 characters after data underscore. So since there is no other file other than this which is having 3 or less characters after data underscore, so we are just getting this one as the output. Similarly for this one, we are having up to 3 characters, then today's date, then .json. Okay, so we have 3 .json files, and out of this only this one which is having 3 characters before today's date, and we do not have anything else. All these are having 4 characters, so it is only considering this file to be copied. And similarly for this one, we have star mark and then today's date. So which means all the files which are having today's date, so it is abcd today's date .json file, and the last one, that is this one. Okay, so we are getting two files in the output. So I hope the examples related to wildcard file path are clear. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you like the content. Please hit on like button and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Thank you.